Tonight, U.S. and allied forces launched a new wave of airstrikes in Yemen, hitting multiple sites controlled by Houthi rebels who are backed by Iran. The action follows U.S. bombings in Iraq and Syria, retaliation for the killing of 3 American soldiers at a remote outpost in Jordan last weekend.
But the targets tonight went further than any U.S. strike. That map right there were the attacks that these proxy groups have launched against U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria. But what was significant about tonight's U.S. strikes is that the targets went beyond these proxy groups. The targets included the Quds Force. That is the part of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that's...
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The U.S. is escalating its involvement in the Middle East. In the past 48 hours, Washington has launched 2 major military operations against what it says are Iran-backed targets.
What's significant about that is it's the first time in the last 3 months we've seen these attacks that the U.S. have attacked Iranians. These are Iranians, Iranian weapons, Iranian sites. Yes, they are connected to the proxy groups, but they are not the Iraqis and the Syrians who are actually pushing the button. These are Iranians, and that is the first time that we've seen that.
Following the U.S. military intervention in Iraq and the subsequent emergence of ISIS, Iran seized the opportunity to expand its influence across the Middle East, particularly in Iraq. By lending support to local militia groups, Iran was able to assert its power and demonstrate its regional relevance. As such, Iran emerged as a key player in the region, with its strategic interests and objectives firmly intertwined with those of its allies and partners. These developments have significant implications for the broader geopolitical landscape of the Middle East and merit further examination and analysis. During the recent years, Iranian-backed militia groups in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen were able to carry out many attacks against the military bases where American soldiers are stationed, with Iran's military support. After America killed the biggest commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guards during an attack, Iranians were always trying to compensate for this attack. And now it seems that by killing 3 American soldiers, which was done by Iran's proxy groups, Iran somehow achieved its goal. And now the question is how America wants to compensate for this action by Iran's proxy groups.
So this is a dangerous moment in the Middle East. We will continue to work to avoid a wider conflict in the region. But we will take all necessary actions to defend the United States, our interests, and our people. And we will respond when we choose, where we choose, and how we choose.
Recent news reports indicate that the United States has engaged in significant bombing operations in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. These actions have been taken in response to the deaths of 3 American soldiers and are part of a broader effort to seek retribution for their loss. It is worth noting that these recent developments mark a departure from previous American military activity in the Middle East and suggest a new phase in the ongoing conflict between Iran and the United States.
But the U.S. did not hit targets inside Iran.
It would be foolish for the United States to be involved in another war in the Middle East.
The current political situation between Iran and the United States has sparked varying opinions from political experts and commentators. Some posit that, due to the domestic political climate in the United States, the upcoming elections and global conditions, the U.S. is not in a position to initiate another conflict in the Middle East. Others believe that there are always factors that can precipitate conflicts between nations. In the event that Iran or its proxy groups cross a certain threshold, the U.S. may be compelled to engage in direct warfare to uphold its political image and power on the world stage. Our network strives to provide the latest updates and important news regarding the world's political and war-related events. Through our uploaded videos, we closely monitor the political conditions of different countries. Our content is carefully curated to ensure that you remain informed on the most recent political videos, commentaries, and war news. We encourage you to subscribe to our network to receive immediate notification of our newly produced content.